Live from Town Square Towers at the heart of the Jersey Shore. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. It is 7:07, February 16th, 49 degrees, getting up to 56 today. It will be rainy. It is rainy. It's wet. The good news is you have to work real hard to find any more of the white stuff on the ground, so we'll take it. Here at WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 News Talk Radio, streaming live on the Radio Pup app and at WOBMAM.com. You could join the conversation at 732-505-1160. Our conversation now turns to schools. It's Arts and Education Tuesday. I think we sufficiently scared the heck out of the two girls from Apple Farm. No such thing will happen now with Ed Keller, high school principal, Toms River High School North. And as always, I feel compelled to call him Mr. Keller because I feel like I'm back in school. And so good morning, Mr. Keller. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. So Ed, you don't mind if I call you Ed, right?
Absolutely
okay,
not.
Good. Thank God, because I didn't want to have to go to the principal's office.
Mr. Keller's my father.
Oh, okay, good. So Ed, talk to us. High School North, biggest high school in Toms River, in the biggest suburban school district in the state. Why don't you drop some knowledge on us? Give us some fun facts and statistics about Toms River High School North.
Okay. Well, we are the largest of all the 18 schools in Toms River. We are definitely, if not the largest, one of the top 2 or 3 largest in Ocean County. Some people would say that's a bad thing. I disagree. I think that our school community is really a microcosm of what society's like, and I think our kids are the better for that. There's a lot of opportunity. There's there's obviously competition, but in a good way, and I think that helps kids learn. It helps kids to see the way that life's going to be outside of school.
Right.
That's a great thing. We work hard in the classroom. Our kids work hard out. I've been privileged to be in all the sectors of Toms River and the different schools that I've been in, and I think that kids are great in Toms River all over. I'm a Toms River kid myself, but I'm a little partial to the Mariners, and I find that our kids work hard in the classroom, and they do the same out, athletically or in clubs and activities, the plays. It's just really a great place.
So Ed, you kind of mentioned it, you kind of touched on it. We got the Toms River kid. Of course, I have to ask you which high school you went to, but we'll get to that in a second. But why don't you kind of take us through your path? I know you've been you've been in a number of schools. You've been in education for certainly a number of years. And so why don't you talk us through your kind of professional development, how you ended up at Toms River North?
Okay. Well, as I said, I grew up in Toms River. I was a Raider at one point. I graduated from Toms River East. I'm just beginning my 25th year in education on Thursday. It'll be my anniversay.
Wow. So you started at 10 years old. You were starting in education.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
I was very young. I have been in 6 of the 18 schools over my career. I taught for 10 years. I was a math and science teacher at Toms River Intermediate East, so I was a Rocket. And when I was promoted and became an administrator, I was the supervisor of instruction at South Toms River Elementary School. And then when I was promoted to principal, I was at North Dover, first West Dover, and then North Dover. And then I've been at High School North for 5 years now.
Wow. And you took over for, I guess now, who is the head of Matter Day, right? I mean, is that where
Yes, I took over for Mr. Howenstein. We have to call him Mr. Howenstein.
So we do call him Mr. Howenstein. Okay, got it. Just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
So you went to East. I went to East myself, as a matter of fact, and you were at Intermediate East, which I don't know why, but of all the school lunches in the history of my life of school lunches, I always remember the Rocket Burger. I don't know why, but the Rocket Burger, that really made an impact on me. So
I don't think I was ever lucky enough to have one
you never had a Rocket Burger?
I don't think I did.
Listen, you're not missing anything. Don't worry about it. So why don't you? I know first of all, Toms River North has really been kind of at the vanguard of moving forward with a lot of STEM/STEAM initiatives. Some really great programming. I know you guys finished, I think, 5th in the recent robotics competition.
That was East.
I know.
We finished 8th.
Oh, okay. Well, I was close.
We were invited to be part of the semifinals, though, which is a very big honor for any robotics team, but definitely for one in their first competition.
So why don't you tell folks about that, what that robotics team is all about? Because I know it's a new program. I think it's very kind of people are talking a lot about STEM and about what that means and how we're introducing it into our schools. So what do you have going on over there that would make people excited?
Well, our robotics team, as I said, we're in our first year. Mrs. Cami Corrado and Mr. Manolio, they're two of the advisors for the club, and there's about 25 students who are very, very motivated. They're really enjoying the robotics, the things that are just to start that our robot can do. Is very exciting to me, but what's really exciting is where we'll go from this point. And as I've talked to the students, I've told them, you're building a base that everyone else will grow on. And I know that's happening at East as well. It's a great thing to watch kids find something that they love.
Right.
And in the past, we didn't have that kind of technology. So I think that we had some potential that was untapped.
Great.
And I think we're able to do that now, which is a great thing. Outside of the robotics program, we have some great science teachers. We have some great teachers in general, but our science teachers work very hard. We've been working to increase the number of tools they have in order to help them, because I think that's something we need to do to move into the century, into the new century and the positions that our students will fill at one point.
Right. So I know that there's been with Dave Healy taking over as superintendent, and I know the kind of the new regime. There's been a lot of there seems to be a lot more professional development now for our teachers than there ever has been since I can recall. Is that just my perception? Is that the case? Are they enjoying it? You think that you think that it's helping, and you think that it's been well received overall?
I definitely do. I think that professional development can be many things, and I think just having the opportunity for teachers to be able to share ideas is what grows classrooms. Because I think anytime you learn anything new, you have to take what you've learned and then apply it with your own personality, with your own classroom, with your own kids. I think that's how we grow, and that's how we move forward. And I think in the time that Mr. Healy has been in our school district, there is definitely a renewed effort in that vein, which is really exciting. I think the teachers enjoy the time to work together, and I know it definitely makes our schools look better. So I like that too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Now, Ed, we failed to talk about this. I know that. How many kids do you have, Ed?
My own personal children,
yes.
or my? Oh,
Listen,
I have two.
By the way, this is it's not. That seems to be the answer I get from every principal, because when we had the principal from Walnut Street last week, he kept referring to his kids as students and his students as his kids,
right? And
we got very confused after a while. Right. So, how many of your own personal children do you have?
Okay. Well, I have two personal children.
Okay, good.
I have 2,400 of other people's children I can spend every day.
All right. And how old are your kids?
I have a son who is a junior at High School North.
Okay.
He's 16 years old. And I have a daughter who is in 7th grade at Intermediate North.
Okay. So you think that's weird at all for your son? No, with his dad being the principal? I've always wondered about that.
I'm sure it probably is.
Yeah. Okay.
Someday we'll talk about it.
Well, it's good. Actually, we have him coming on next week to discuss. He'll be on next Tuesday in the 7 o'clock spot too. So just no pressure whatsoever. But so daughter in 7th grade. So she is making her way towards the Freshman Academies. I'd like to talk about that when we come back after the break, because I know it's an exciting program to kind of reduce dropout rates, to improve engagement in our high school freshmen. And I know you probably have the most feedback of anyone, having the largest number of freshman academies at Toms River High School North. So Ed Keller, principal, Toms River High School North. We'll be back with him right after this break.
Rush Limbaugh today at noon. More Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin coming up next. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Connect with Jeremy, 732-505-1160. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160, 1310, and WOBMAM.com.
Welcome back. 721, February 16th, 49 degrees, rainy. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310, streaming live on the Radio Pup app and at WOBMAM.com. Join the conversation at 732-505-1160. We are joined by Ed Keller, principal of Toms River High School North. So, Ed, why don't you talk to us about the Freshman Academies? I know it's been from what I can see, it's been a successful program. Kids seem to enjoy it. Teachers seem to enjoy it. Why don't you tell folks what that's all about?
Sure. This is our first year of the Freshman Academy. I think it's going very, very well. Just really at the core, the best part about it is the fact that our students have 4 core teachers. In the past, in a high school setting, you would know if you had the same student as a teacher down the hall. So there's very little discussion, and it's an easy opportunity for kids to fall through the cracks. What we have now is each one of our freshman students has 4 core teachers together in the core subjects: math, science, language arts, and history. In that, now we have an opportunity for teachers to dialogue, to get together, see what's working, what's not working with particular students. It's very much like our intermediate school model, but they don't move as a group. They move individually as a high school. So it's almost, I shouldn't say almost, it's the best of both worlds. Right. It's an opportunity for kids to grow individually, but then to still have a safety net underneath them. Our teachers meet regularly with the assistant principal and the guidance counselor who are dedicated to the Freshman Academy. And I think we're really just scratching the surface of it right now. We're seeing some positives. We're also adding different components to it, where there's themes throughout the year. So there are ways to connect our students with the high school, because that's really the most important part. One of the main things I say at freshman orientation every year is, we want you to make this your school. Right. You should bleed blue and gold when you're here. You can either just come from 7:15 to 1:35, or you can immerse yourself in what we do. And then at the end, when you graduate, you'll be proud of what you built and where you come from.
Great. So kind of following in that vein, I know that, from a Freshman Academy standpoint, that seems like just the first step in moving more towards specialized academies. So I know that there's been, constant talk about how we create different STEM academies and different career-focused type academies. Do you have anything going on at North that's like that, or anything that, how do you see this kind of morphing as we progress forward over the next few years?
Well, I know in the fall of 2017, there will be some career academies within the 3 high schools, which I think is a great opportunity, because what we want to do in high school is we want to give our kids opportunities to grow in the things that they enjoy, right, or to be exposed to things that they don't know that they enjoy yet. We do a lot right now with trying to get our students to see things that they might want to do when they get out of school. That's really the difference in high school versus the other levels, where my kids come as kids and leave as men and women.
Right.
And that's an exciting thing, but at the same time, it's a little nerve-wracking for them, because they're now trying to make decisions that they've always thought about. And I think we're working that way as a school district. Great. You want to have opportunities for every kid.
Absolutely. So listen, and so we have the normal. We always have the normal discussions around Common Core, around park testing, around school start times. And I know, look, I don't really want to spend too much time on those today, because I know that these are issues that, aren't going to go away. They're very heavily, state mandated issues that you as a principal, frankly, you're just, you have to do the right things and play by the dance card that you're kind of given. I know we talked offline a little bit about school start times, and I think you made a great point that I just want to kind of highlight, which is, we spent a lot of time talking about how much time kids have on the back end of a school day, when they get out at 1:35 to do, horrible things. What we don't talk about is all the kids that get out of 1:35 and have jobs or go to additional classes, additional trainings, additional sports, extracurricular activities. and they can really have what you said is like another life right afterwards. So I think that's a great point, and I think we lose sight of that oftentimes. When we do come back, though, I do want to hear from you about. I know that there are a lot of other programs that are going on at North that you probably want to illustrate for us, and we're going to give you a few minutes to do that. And then I want to hear what you're going to do with your with a magic wand that you could change something in the district or at High School North just by waving it. Ed Keller, principal, Toms River High School North, back with us after the break.
The news is next. Live from the WOBM Newsroom, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
7:35, February 16th, 49 degrees, getting up to 56 here at WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio, streaming live on the Radio Pup app and at WOBMAM.com. You can join the conversation at 732-505-1160. Sometimes I wish that you guys had the ability to kind of be with us when we're in between breaks, but that doesn't work because, see, we need advertisers because that's how they pay, my salary and Zach and all these other things, and there's these lights and, so you can't actually hear, but that's all right. One day we'll release the behind-the-scenes tapes, and, it'll be super embarrassing for me, and I will certainly never be able to run for public office. But we are here with Ed Keller, principal, Toms River High School North. Ed, why don't you talk to us a little bit? As we went away at the break, we were talking about the kids that let's talk about the kids who are really doing the great things and doing the positive things. So I know you guys have some great engagement programs that you're really getting kids involved in at a number of different levels. So why don't you talk to us about some of those things?
Sure. There's a balance between the social and emotional and the educational point of what we do. So we really try to involve our kids. As I said earlier, I really want our kids to be involved in our school community. So we do a lot outside the classroom. We just had our teacher pageant. Shout out to Mr. Sievert and Mrs. Muller who won that. And then, which is a pageant of sorts where our kids get to come and watch the teachers perform against one another in a fun setting. We'll do that with the students again in a couple weeks in the Mr. and Miss Mariner. It's great because we have about 600, 700 kids come out to those events, and and they really get to see they get to see their teachers outside of the classroom, which just builds more of a love of the community that we have going. We have things like North's Got Talent. We do student-faculty games, basketball, softball, volleyball throughout the year. We just finished our play, which is a great source of pride for us. Educationally, on the other side, like as I said earlier, we do a lot to try to aim our young men and women towards the careers that they're going to follow. We have an engineering, design, tech, computer programming classes, authentic science research. We're actually sending one of our seniors, Giselle Bott, will be heading to Orlando next month to speak to the American Cancer Society regarding her research with C. elegans, which is probably more than I understand. And then we have our kids who go to vocational school, our co-op and CAP programs, medical club, robotics. We try to make sure that there's something for everyone, and we tell our kids, if you have an interest and we don't have a club for that, you can find an advisor and you have a club. So, there's something for everyone.
Great. And you started talking a little bit about career education. So I know you have a lot of things going on around career education as well. Are there other programs that you have going on, or is that pretty much highlighted the big ones there?
Those are the big ones. I think that there's, we try to do stuff within the regular ed setting as well.
Okay.
These are things that grow those interests.
Gotcha. So, all right. So I asked you on the way out. I asked you about the magic wand, the pixie dust. for those of you, I always think of Bewitched like that. I don't know if you remember, but I don't know how many people actually remember Bewitched anymore. And now I start to think I'm getting older, and I don't think anybody really gets the reference. So,
I watch that show.
All right,
so
but I think
understand.
of Tabitha and
Right.
like her nose and whatever. Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're pretty much turning me off right now. So Ed, you got the magic wand. What are you doing with it?
Well, to continue in the same course I was saying, I would like to find that those students that I have trouble engaging and find a way for them to love our school, for them to be involved, for them to grow their own personal talents. Because I think one of the hardest things for a high school kid is everyone sees a mold they have to fit into.
Right.
I think the clarity that comes with being a high school graduate and moving on in life is that you can create your own mold. And I think that if I could make our kids see that earlier, they would be better people.
Right.
We could be better teachers because I think people would understand, let me learn this for me as opposed to let me learn this so I can answer the questions on it.
Right.
And then obviously there's a lot of things that I'd like to do that, I don't have control of. It'd always be nice to expand, what we do academically. I know and I think we work towards that. I think it takes time.
Right.
I'd love to have a magic wand to put things in place
Sure.
very quickly. But the nice thing is that I know that they're coming, and I know that with work we can do them.
Right. Well, listen, I think that you you have an impact on so many of our kids here in Toms River, running the biggest school that you do. I think it's it's funny. We have a little bit of history because we walked the soccer sidelines together with our two daughters playing soccer together, and so we used to talk about you kind of have a little city that you run. At Toms River High School North, which is no small task, especially when you're taking care of someone else's kids for as much time as you do. And I think you're doing a great job over there. And there's some really fantastic programs. We didn't even talk about the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, mentoring program with Walnut Street. We didn't talk about some of the great athletics. We didn't talk about the fact that didn't you have a kid that had scored like a perfect score on an AP exam?
We did.
So there's so many great things happening at High School North, as there are happening at all of our high schools across Ocean County. And on behalf of those of us who are just parents, which is a lot of work too, we thank you for all your hard work and for helping us, move our kids along to the next station in a positive way. So thank you so much, Ed. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I have to take all your kind words for my staff because I don't teach any classes.
Right.
They really do all the heavy lifting. My front office staff, who are second to none, my administrative team, which are all outstanding in their fields, all the way down to the custodians and everyone who runs our building. I don't think it's not a job that can be done by one person.
Right.
And I think that, and I know this is happening at East. I know this is happening at South. I know this is happening in all the intermediate schools and elementary schools because I've been there.
Right.
You have people who care about kids, then it makes the job easy.
Awesome. Ed Keller, Toms River High School North, and you could play. That was really good, by the way. You really brought it back around to thank the team.
Try to give everybody some
That was the right way
publicity.
to go. You could actually play the YouTube stream for them over the loudspeaker just so they feel good about it. Anyway, Ed Keller, Toms River High School North, thank you so much for joining us. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, back right after this.